Hello, 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 hello. It's another Friday and happy Friday, actually, I should say that. Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Show. I'm Joel Asante. My colleagues here, Azo and Dineski, we welcome you back. It's been a long week, and there's a lot of stuff we wanted to get you guys caught up on. And obviously, we said, why not do this on our last episode on Gen AI and share some resources and walk you through some of the things we have here on our end. Uh, with that being said, guys, is there anything you want to quickly, uh, in terms of introduction or any highlights of your week before we get into this?
No, I just wanted to say like I'm really excited for especially this session. At least we get to dive deep and talk about some of the interesting apps that utilize Gen AI. So I think this would be helpful, especially for people who are new to using Gen AI in general. So really excited.
Absolutely. Dineski, what about yourself?
No, it's last week was a great honor that we had to have Brian Pickford with us and talk about Gen AI security, especially on that. And well, it's another episode today, so we're gonna talk about nice stuff and interesting stuff that you can do with this amazing tool that we spoke about last week, and we're gonna show today.
Absolutely, absolutely. Plus one to what the team here said. Like we had discussed last week, a lot of the conversation ended up being a security discussion, but pertaining to Gen AI. And we wanted to wrap up, I would say, our series of Gen AI by walking you through how to get started when it comes to building an application. There are so many resources out there that you can obviously look up and utilize to build your own application. But I think there's one resource that I've personally used, but also I've shared with many of my customers and other individuals in the space to get them started. And I'll walk you through the transition between getting that initial introduction to this tool, then how you can graduate to various levels of other tools to get you to start building enterprise scale applications, right? The start is always that baby crawling steps that we have to take till we get to where we say, hey, let's ride an actual bike or let's ride a motorcycle, right? We gotta always set the foundation and get us started in the space. So with that being said, what is the tool am I talking about? If you've never heard of PartyRock, I wouldn't say you're under a rock, but you kind of are. Uh, PartyRock has of this year, or it was officially launched last year after AWS reInvent, is a bedrock playground that helps individuals, whether they're builders, enthusiasts, whoever you are, helps you get started when it comes to building Gen AI applications. It's a great tool to get you to build whatever you can think of, whether it's you wanting to build a fashion recommendation, a food recommendation because you're in a certain city. It gets you to start thinking of a way to one prompt or learn how to prompt engineer stuff, but also two, how to utilize its components to build applications in general, right? So that's what we're going to be working on today. We're going to walk you through what that looks like and walk you through after you're done building the Party Rock applications. How do you go to the next steps when it comes to maybe transition into Amazon Q apps, right? Then maybe transition into something very new as of this week called Amazon App Studios, which helps you build enterprise scale application, right? How do you ingest different sources? How do you connect different sources to help you utilize those sources as a essentially a RAG component to your application? These are very exciting. And as you can tell, I get excited when I talk about this because it's a long time coming where you can do all these stuff with low code or no code at all. Where in the past, you had to build these tools or these application with some sort of application or coding experience alongside with it. So I'm looking forward to walking you through this and we can get started.
So Joe, would you consider this app like a good starter tool for like someone on let's say training wheels to get started with Gen AI apps? That's something. you would
Yeah,
see.
100%. 100%. I think the intent and the goal of having a playground is to give the viewers and the individuals that are looking to utilize it as a learning playground to build those concept and just knowledge of how one prompting different models, but also two being able to easily create application at the very basic level and utilize it as a understanding of how to create the application to move into other applications, like I mentioned, Q apps, and with the new Amazon Studio App Studio as a next step of that. So having a playground like this helps the viewers or individuals be able to understand how to build stuff, then take those understanding to the next level. Right? Does it make sense?
Yeah. The other day I was playing with that, and it's amazing how anyone can build an app with PartyRock. It's
Oh yeah,
amazing. You don't have to know code. You don't have to know any technical stuff. You just have to provide information, and it just creates for you what you're looking for. That's a good thing. But
absolutely. And
yeah, I believe we're
it's
gonna be more
it's
excited when you show it today.
no, absolutely. I think to me, when I first interacted and first utilized this, it was, hey, yeah, I can prompt it and have it create something really cool. But what am I really learning from it? Well, I'm learning how to one understand how to I can create app, whether it's just through the initial prompting of the application creation process, or I can customize it by building it from scratch. And you're gonna see as I create this how it translates to full on services that helps you create enterprise scale applications, how the transition is super easy. And that's why I said earlier, it's a playground, it's a foundational thing. But then you can transition this to other applications like QApp and Application Studio. So yeah, it's a great foundation thing that I think folks are going to get really excited about.
Nice.
Awesome. With that being said, let me transition to actually walking us through a very high level of what this looks like and how people can get started with this.
Yes.
Cool. So, for the folks here on the call, and if you're watching this video after, whether it's on YouTube or you're watching this on LinkedIn, this essentially is Party Rock. I got the privilege to demo this and walk customer through this at the recent New York summit. And from the interaction that I got, it was very positive, right? A lot of folks asked me specifically about, hey, how can I get my staff engineers to start ideating about how they can build quick and efficient applications and take that ideas that have built in this to other things too as well. And that's the whole point, is to be able to get you to build playground applications or build application in the playground and transition that over to full on uh, Gen AI applications on other platforms here. But you might ask, Joel, how do I get started with this? Well, it's a quick and easy way to do that. We first have to obviously sign in or sign up if you haven't already signed up for this. Uh, Once you're in there, it's as quickly as navigating through a quick understanding of what this looks like. It walks you through a very high level of what Party Rock is in terms of the guidance, so you can quickly do that as well. But we're going to navigate into the application session, right? So in here, you have a very introductory to some already pre-built application you can test around. And in this pre-built application, you have various ideas on how to get some recommendation when it comes to movies. So people here have built movie recommendation applications. 6 Degrees of Vinyl, which are it's an application to help you understand uh, some backgrounds in terms of scenes, members, tours, and other real world links when it comes to artists. But what we're going to be doing today is how to actually build your own application, right? You can come in here and click on this to see what applications has been built from others and how to actually prompt it and get those recommendations, in this case for movies. But how do you actually build applications? So in here, I've already built a resume customizer or optimizer application. It's private as of right now. But what you can do also is you can build your own application. So you can come up here, click on generate application. You can then be prompted to how and what your application should do or what it should look like, right? This would be you actually prompting it. So being very specific is very needed. It could be me saying, hey, I want you to build a music recommendation app for latest music in various countries. I'm not sure, whatever, right? So once I built this, PartyRock essentially in the background is prompting or invoking Bedrock, right? It's invoking Bedrock to generate the different components that you want to have in an application. So you can see here, I have quickly built a music global music recommendation system, right? Where I can say, hey, this is the genre I want. This is the country. I'm gonna just say the UK. Then I'm gonna have it give me some recommendations on those music to listen to, right? Then if there's any album covers in terms of cool album cover that's related to that topic, it prompts that and creates that as well. Then if there's any conversation that I want to have with the application or bot, I can come in here and chat away. I can come in here ask, uh, what is how is the UK? And I think I have to the UK music scene compared to the US, right? You just chat along, right? It gives you a quick way to quickly build these applications or have some understanding of, hey, this is some of the things that I would need to have in a Music Explorer application, right? I was able to prompt it away and ask it to build it for me.
So
Joe,
Joel, this is really cool. Like the what you're showcasing here right now, it's pretty amazing. So I would maybe ask you, like, as a non-technical person, I can probably generate any type of app, right? Like the possibilities are endless.
Great question there. And I think a lot of times I lose track of the non-technical folks that tend to want to build these cool apps and not have the resource to do so. This is again intended for I initially pointed out for builders, but I would say non-technical folks are heavily utilizing this. And the reason why I say they're utilizing this is I have a sister that works in the government space. And when I first showed her this, she was like, "Oh, it's that easy?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's that easy. You can quickly build these applications to take on the mundane task you have to do in your day-to-day work and have it do it for you." So I'll say yes to your point, Ezel. It's a great thing that non-technical folks are taking advantage of it. And I think if you're not taking advantage of it as of right now, you should take advantage of it. Uh, but yeah, I think Danieski had a question here. You
yeah, Joe, for the more technical folks here, what model is you mentioned Bedrock? What model is it
Yep,
using? Sonnet, Haiku? What is it
absolutely.
using?
So great point. So for the technical folks that know some of the models that are out there with uh with Claude, not Claude, sorry, with Party Rock, you have the accessibility to the different models that you can utilize to generate these again recommendations or other things here, right? As of right now, in this, you have access to Claude 3, all of Claude 3, so Haiku, Sonnet. Then you also have access to Amazon Titan's model and Titan, whether it's the Light or the Express, but also Drastic and Llama 2 as well, and Command if you use that model.
So,
I
so,
personally
so
go ahead.
Opus is not available yet.
as of right now, it's not available in the playground. But I'm going to move to other tools and platforms that you can have access to that has access to those models. Hold on that question for a second.
Sure.
We'll talk about that. But as you've noticed here in the edit playlist here, you have the ability to edit these. And these are the tiles that you get to add on. And I think it'll be a better job. It'll be better for me to show you what this looks like as we create something from scratch. So I'm going to click on create an empty app. In the creation of an empty app, or in this case, let's say we're creating back that recommendation system, you have the ability to choose when it comes to the input, user input, a static text, or a document, right? So this is giving you the ability to enter those inputs that I've entered, whether it's, again, in this case, hip hop or the UK, or have static text, which would be placeholders that you can call back, or documents that you can upload for the actual AI to analyze or give those recommendations on. And in this case, it could be when it comes to the output side of stuff, it could be text, image, or chatbot, which we saw in the application that I quickly built here, where I have the text generation, which generates text here for me. I have the image generation, which generates the image. Then I have the chatbot based off those two inputs that I've had here, right? And how does it actually work? Well, it's in the prompt itself. We are saying that, hey, based on the genre that I select here, which in this case, in the hip hop genre, and the countries, the UK, provide 5 unique playlists of recommendations in this field here, right? Then in that field, once it's created, when we come to the album cover, we want to do something very similar, right? Take the input of the genre and the country and provide a album cover. Then in the music conversation section, where a lot of times we want to have those back and forth conversation, we say in the prompts, please utilize the genre and the countries to invoke those back and forth conversation that we want to have, right?
So basically, Joel, you're combining those prompts, right? You're chaining them together to
Yep.
form another prompt. Is that what
Yep.
I understood?
Essentially, you're calling, just like, think of it like in a code, right? When you're calling a specific function to be used somewhere else, right? But in this case, you're calling those inputs to be used in the outputs, or to generate those outputs for you. So in this case, I'm utilizing those two inputs that I have here, the genres and the countries, to generate the chatbot output that I want here, right?
Oh, that's pretty cool. So they're kind of considered like variables, right? In this case.
Yep. That's a great thing to think of it, right? They're essentially variables that you're calling to be utilized to generate those outputs. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, it's a quick and easy way to quickly build this. You can initially do the prompts, or you can come in here like I showed you earlier and actually create it from scratch, right? You can come in here and specify, hey, I want to use input. I put in my placeholder. I come in here. The placeholder could be whatever you want to placehold here, default value, whatever. Come in here, add text generation as an output. You always want to add your variables, like Ezo had mentioned, where it says, hey, I want to call back this. And it does a good job highlighting those variables to make sure that you're calling the right thing here. So I can say, hey, based off of let's see, let's delete all this. Widget 0, create whatever, right? So you're essentially referencing it. And you can do this for each component that you want, whether it's for images, chatbot, text, and you can really, really, really get customizable. Like I said earlier, you can build some really cool stuff. I know there's a discovery tab where you can see what people are building, right? Create a chat RPG. You can create an actual game, a text-based game, which is insane. You can create a what is it? A fashion assistant. You can create a resume optimizer. You can create a certification planner. So if you're thinking about taking certification, how do you want to make sure that you are on a path that is to your need? Create something similar, that similar to this, or in this case, if you're like, I want to take this and make it customizable to my need. The cool part about PartyRock is you can remix this and make your own. Essentially, you're creating your own flavor of this by remixing it and adding your own components. Essentially, it's become your own application, and you can start editing the prompts here and making it your own application.
I see. So like remixing is kind of like forking, right? You're forking the actual
Forking the code.
application. Yeah.
Forking the code. Exactly. You're forking the code to make it yours and adding different components to it. So in this case, I fork this. I can come in here and add additional components to this, right?
So where can you find a repository of all the apps that you can fork?
So all the application that has been made public, you can see this in the discovery of what has been featured, right? So if you are looking to get inspiration from what others are doing, you can go to Discovery tab. But also, I like to remind folks is if you don't see this and you see someone that has created a cool application on PartyRock, please do ask for those links. And what that does is when someone creates an app, they can publicly, and I'm gonna make this application I created here. I can make this public by clicking the public button here and make this public that anyone can have access to, or I can click on the shared so I can share the link specifically to individuals that want it. So in this case, I'll say public and I'll copy the link. So whoever needs access to this tool or app, they can have access to it. Right?
That's really cool. So I can imagine myself if I create like this really cool app, like this planner, and I really wanted to share it with my friends and colleagues, I could probably, do something, create it, build it, and then share it with them, and they can give me some feedback from that, right?
100%. 100%. That's the intent. The intent is to have something being built, share it with your team. If that's the goal of what you have, ideate, think about how to maybe optimize it, iterate over it, and the cycle of continuous iteration or continuous development is the goal of this, right? And after you're done with that, take it to the next step, which is something we're going to discuss in a second.
Joe, can you go back to Discover? I want to see something there.
Yes, sir.
Something R zombie. Can you click on that?
This looks like a zombie game. So start. We're gonna play this game for a second. So this looks like a game here that does. Okay, this is an app that has been winning submission. They're created by this individual. Looks like a zombie game, a zombie storytelling game. It looks like, right? Then you can actually play the game here. This looks really fun.
Wow. I see there's a lot of widgets here.
Yeah, exactly. This person really customized this. Really took their time to build a full-on zombie game. Right? You can see like your imagination is like it's the limit. Like whatever you can think of, you can like at least try to build this on PartyRock.
And what is
Absolutely.
like the body? Like see like left, right, torso.
I believe this looks like says here. I'm not really familiar with the game here, but it tells me you can specify different components of the body part to see if you can kill this zombie. So in this case, I believe to kill this, we got to use 2 hashes. So I'm gonna say enter, and we're gonna see if it lets us build this. Uh-oh, we made some damage here. Sonic disruption, blah blah. Now this is cool. Obviously, we had to probably play a lot more with this tool, but yeah, this looks like someone built a full game application on PartyRock.
I can imagine like the imagination of and then the different apps that you can create is just endless. It's just
Oh yeah,
I can see myself doing something, creating something similar to like a resume builder or a resume checker.
Speaking about that, I built my own resume optimizer tool here, right? And essentially, it's me copying my resume and this input. I put in my job I put in a job description of what a job I'm looking for, and it tells me, hey, based off the resume and based off your the job description you've inputted, these are what it matches, right? Does it match? Does it not? It tells me what are the strengths and the weakness of that resume. What are the tips and how I can optimize it? It tells me this as well. And if there's any chat and fort that I need to have in here, I can do that too as well, right? So it's again, your imagination can't like you can build whatever you want in this. But I want to talk about how we can go from this to actual build an enterprise application. Again, this is a playground service or a playground tool that you can start ideating on how to build certain Gen AI application. But the real thing comes in when you're actually utilizing this for enterprise scale Gen AI applications, where you're integrating this with different data sources, databases, different connectors, whatever it is. That's where the real deal comes in play here. Uh, Guys, I'm not sure if you guys have seen this with the recent announcement of at the New York Summit. There are various things that people I think will love to be interested or would be interested about has a next step after PartyRock, especially with Amazon Q apps. Have you guys heard about it, or is it something that we should dive into a little bit more?
Yeah, I saw an announcement. I think it was yesterday, right? But I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure. So if you can
Yeah.
go over a little bit, Joe, on that.
Absolutely, absolutely, we'd love to. So let's start with Amazon Q apps. I've personally seen this has it's developed the past couple of months, right? Amazon Q for business, Amazon Q for developers to give developers the ability to have generative AI in their own code IDE. I think I personally like Amazon Q apps as a way to give individuals or users, no matter their background, whether it's not technical, technical, the ability to create these applications from a conversational standpoint. So just like what we had done with PartyRock, where we're taking to a whole new level by utilizing Amazon Q app or Q for business. So in here, you can see in the screenshots here, you're able to prompt these you can prompt Amazon Q for business or a Q app to build certain application based off the description that you give it. And as you can see here, once you've prompted it, you're able to create these applications very, very similar to what you saw in PartyRock. But in this case, you're able to connect this with your Amazon S3 assets. So if you're looking to add like product documents, so if let's say you're looking to build a new product or a chat bot for your business and you have assets in an S3 bucket, you can utilize that as a source and utilize the S3 connector for Amazon Q Business to be integrated in this application. Once that's been integrated with this, you can have your application be to use that source has a reference. So essentially like a RAG application, right? So you can see here, very similar to what we saw in PartyRock, we have the inputs, then we have the text outputs, right? And yeah, it's very,
So
very similar to from what I see here, PartyRock.
so
But
Joe,
obviously,
you mentioned connectors. So you're saying I can like connect this to like my an S3 bucket that I created in my account and probably supply like documents or objects within that S3,
yep,
and it could be
essentially,
used as
we're
a knowledge base, right?
essentially exactly right. Whereas the other service, PartyRock, you're not able to necessarily have that knowledge base that you would have in a RAG architecture, right? Well, in this case, you're able to do that or have that, right? So, like I mentioned, that transitioning from going from just quickly building something to ideate to now building something that could be actually more practical to a use case is very seamless. Then you can go from having the knowledge base with Q apps and having to build something very similar to PartyRock, but at a greater scale. You can now move to an enterprise scale or enterprise grade application with something very new that was announced called App Studio, whereas as of right now, it's in preview. So if you've not seen this, I would highly suggest you check it out. Um, Essentially, what it does is it lets you really and quickly build full scale application in seconds, or actually not in seconds, but in minutes, right? And this blog post does a good job to walk you through what this looks like, right?
Yeah, I'm sure that those individuals that were interested in Amazon Q for Business, I'm sure they're gonna love this.
Oh yeah,
It's
oh
like
yeah.
it's like a next level of for me.
It's
Something
like you're going from preschool with PartyRock. I wouldn't even call it preschool. Like let's say you're going from fifth
elementary.
grade,
Yeah.
elementary,
It's a huge
elementary
leap.
school,
Yeah,
right,
Yeah.
to middle school, then to college. There are steps to it, and having to walk through those steps is very great for individuals that are getting started in the Gen AI space of building an application. But also, I would say you can jump into this relatively easy too as well, because I think the level of barrier when it comes to understanding how to build these applications, and whether it's Q apps or App Studio, is relatively easy, because you can tell in these screenshots here, it's essentially it's no code, right? No code
yeah,
building of Gen AI application, where you can come in here, you can specify in the description of what you're looking to build, or utilize sample prompts, and you're able to see the final outputs, which I'm going to view here as well. Let me scroll to the bottom here. Where is this image I'm looking for? Or you can see here, right? So in this case here, this person built a, what was it? They built a, oh man, why am I forgetting? They built an application that is related to, I believe, document processing. Then they've actually not document processing. They've built a project approval app. Sorry, right, where they would get documents that it's inputted, and essentially they're able to select and add multiple components to it to go through to get approvals to those documents that's been added. So you
yeah.
can see here, there's the pages that you can create, there's the automations you can add, then there's the data. And from what I see here so far, there are various uh, things you can add when it comes to data. Uh, you can have S3. From what I saw, you can add S3. You can have, let me go back to this really quick.
You know, Joe, you know what's crazy about this? Sorry to cut you off, is like
You get,
I can see a potential of like a lot of non-technical folks coming in and just creating apps just the way they want, you know? And this could you know, creates we can imagine a lot of different apps being created, generated, um, and used, you know? It's just
oh
kind
yeah,
of interesting, you know? I'm
oh
thinking
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
It's,
Amazon Q for
go ahead.
Business has like over 40 connectors, right? And
Yes.
so is AWS Studio, App Studio similar? Like you have
So
multiple
it is
connectors.
similar. It is similar in a sense, but I think the key difference here is the sort of like the whole studio platform, where you can invite multiple developers to work on certain applications, right? Whereas studio, you have, or Q apps, sorry, where you have the ability to create those quick applications that can be reused and shared to other individuals, right? Whereas the app studio is giving you the platform to come in here and have uh, enterprise scaled application be built from the ground up with multiple different builders in
So,
minutes, right?
so I
So you
guess
can have
Joel,
technical. Go
in
ahead,
in
Ezra.
this case, yeah. So in this case, like you can generate, like, let's say an app, and then it could be kind of like a boilerplate, right? And then developers can
Exactly.
come in, maybe take the code if it's like generated in JavaScript or HTML, and build upon that. So they don't really have to start from scratch. If
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm trying to see if I can log in here so I can walk through folks some of the features that I've seen here. Again, this is very new as of what, yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I have spent little time actually building stuff with it yet, but I think the steps that I had walked folks through right now is, again, you start at the very foundation, building very basic stuff with PartyRock, and you can migrate to barely start building stuff where Q apps. Then if there's a need to build the enterprise grade application with multiple individuals, whether it's like building a claims processing app, product approval, audit, metrics management, and an inventory app, whatever you can think of, it gives you the ability to build this with no software development skills needed.
Joe, a question that we get frequently is because there are many companies building websites, right?
So,
And one of the questions that we get the most is how can we integrate this in our website, right? So you saw that Amazon Q for Business is like a chatbot that you can ask questions based on a source, right? The
Yep.
connector, and you can even upload files. It has like a feature, a functionality that you can upload files to, and use that as a source, right? So we get a lot of questions about integrating this with websites. If you don't know the answer, that's fine. But do you have an idea? Is there anything that is being implemented already on how to plug in this into a website?
that's a great idea. Again, with this being very new, I gotta look into
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But
Amazon Q for business. That one that is already
for business,
established.
yes,
Established there.
I think it should be seamless, right? When it comes to, especially, I know on the chatbot side of stuff, it's a very seamless thing of just implementing the endpoint. But when it comes to other types of builds, I am not really familiar with it, and I got to look into that myself. But the integratability of these apps that you're building are going to be integrated like it's a native application in your service or in your platform. Uh,
Yeah,
but it shouldn't be a hard lift out from what I've seen so far.
right. Because it's very trending right now. Everybody wants to have a chatbot, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Better customer
It's
experience. The UI looks beautiful. You get responses much faster. You don't have to wait for a representative to get back to you and give you an answer. There's an automated way that is already established. You ask a question, there's a source that contains the answers or the information, and then there's an AI functionality that uses an algorithm and it gives you the answer the way you want, right? So that's why I asked, because many
oh yeah,
people they want to have the chatbot, and the more AI you introduce, I think it's more accurate
hundred
in
percent,
terms of responses, right?
100%. And I think it's it's gone to a point where whatever you can think of, you can quickly and easily do, right? And I think that's what I like about these tools and services that are being made available to the masses, right? Where it used to be in the past, where if you want to build a similar application that does exactly what you would be able to do in App Studio as of right now, it would take you several developers, so several engineers.
Oh
But
yeah,
in this case, one non-technical person can quickly build some thought of uh, a claims
like a
application or
like a
inventory
POC.
application, like a POC. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Quickly build a POC that could be actually moved into a full-fledged uh, production application in a sense, right? So I think it lowers the barrier of entry to the masses, and that's what I completely love about this, right? We want to make generative AI or just AI and ML in general more accessible to everyone. And I think making services or tools or solutions available to everyone is the next steps that we make that possible, right? If that makes sense, right? So,
Joe, let me ask you a question.
yes, sir.
It's a little maybe a little unrelated, but do you think that that Google search, the engine has been there forever, right? It's been there for a long time. Do you think it's using AI in the back end when you look for something?
I mean, typically you would see like it's just querying just a large volume of data, right? Obviously, there is some version of AI that's being implemented or used,
I,
but
I I think
obviously, I wouldn't have the capacity to
It's
know
not. It's not.
what that looks like.
I don't think
yeah.
it's not accurate as AI.
Yeah, I think what
into
they're
the
using is
SEO.
like I think they're using some sort of vector database, like embeddings models and stuff like that,
Right, right.
to query the whatever you're searching. But definitely, I don't. Well, now they have incorporated, I think, Gemini and
Oh
a
yeah,
bunch of
yeah, sure,
other.
sure, sure, sure.
Yeah,
So right now, whatever search you do with Google, it contains AI. I'm sure that it,
hundred
it
percent.
has some
Yeah,
AI involved. But
Oh yeah,
before AI is booming. This is the time when it's booming and going higher and higher and higher. But
I
some
absolutely.
think
people,
even the introduction of like LLMs in general, that
yeah,
that
yeah, uh,
that kind of made the whole it the whole trajectory of like just simple AI for the foundational machine learning has been changed to like more
yeah,
advanced, like an advanced level.
sure,
So
sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we want to make sure that one, folks are able to utilize these AI tools, uh, but we want to empower them to be able to build their own AI tools, right? We just don't want to have folks be able to utilize these AI tools to, whether it's for prompting or whatever. We just want to empower individuals and users the ability to create these systems that fits their business needs, right? So whether it's, again, claims processing applications, inventory management, whatever it is, whatever you can think of, or whatever fits your business need, given you the ability to build these things at an enterprise grade is the goal that I believe a lot of cloud providers and AWS are looking to do. Right. I know it
Now,
says more specifically to AWS.
now when you tell an end user you don't have to know code, that's music to their ears,
Oh
right?
yeah.
yeah,
Like I said, I gave the example of my little sister that works in government that said, "Hey, I do this on a day to day. Like, I want to build something that is able to fix this mundane task that I go through. Like this tool is absolutely gonna help me get up to speed, quickly build it, and not have to actually develop something from scratch that I might have to use some sort of coding language or framework to build, right? So I do agree. Again, like I said earlier, we're lowering the barrier of entry for a lot of developers or non-technical folks to get started and build full-on applications and get to a point where they start building enterprise-grade applications. Uh,
yep.
Yep.
but yeah,
And I agree. Like you said, like your sister and some of our relatives, they're not really technical. A majority of them are not technical. You can say that, right? So I saw that movie recommendation app, and I thought it was really cool because sometimes you have like a friend or so, you might ask, okay, can you recommend me a particular movie, and then
you
you could
just
probably
just
just
build an app and just send it to them to
send
go
it to them. Yeah.
send it to them and say what genre do you want in terms of uh genre of music or movie you want to watch, and it should give them a list opposed to you actually doing the recommendation for them. You'd be like, hey, guess what? Instead of me telling you what to go watch, guess what? I built something that would recommend certain things to you based off uh the genre or whatever you're asking for, whether it's
There,
uh actor,
there's
type of
some
movies, whatever it is.
there's so many movies that you don't know where to start,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
And you can
Like I'm
ask,
not even,
give me the movies of the last few years, the past 5 years that have the highest reviews and the most watchers. Boom, and it gives you those movies, and then you go ahead
yeah.
and watch it. Yeah,
I would say whoever is watching this, if we're live right now or after, if you're able to build a movie recommendation bot where it captures the different actors and recommends movies based off that actor, but also the year, the type of movie, whether it's sci-fi or whatever it is, please do build that and share it to us. I think we can definitely benefit from it, but also we can share it to the community here as well. I think it'll be cool and fun to see what people are able to build from just learning what we were able to share today.
sure.
Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
with that being said, uh, I am going to post this in the chat real quick for the new announcement that were made as of this week. Please do check it out. Please do check out Amazon Q Apps, Amazon App Studio, right? Those two are actual new are services in the actual console. PartyRock is a free playground that you can utilize outside of the console. So I would say start off from there, then migrate and move into the actual services that are in the console. But yeah, I think a lot of folks are going to get really excited in terms of how to move from not knowing how to build these generative AI applications to actually building them to a enterprise grade scale that before they didn't think it was possible. With that being said, let's set expectations for next week and let's discuss what we are going to be doing next week. So, moving forward next week, we are going to be wrapping up. I know. Don't blame me. Blame the guys here. We're going to be wrapping up our Gen AI series because there's a lot to talk about, right? There's a lot to talk about when it comes to tech. There's databases, there's storage, there's cost optimizing, there is IoT, robotics. Man, I can keep going on and going on. We would always want to discuss Gen AI and how it can be implicated into other use cases as well. I have some ideas of how we can utilize Gen AI to do some data masking. So whenever we get into the data analytics conversations or topics, I'm going to bring up Gen AI back again in terms of how we can incorporate Gen AI to data masking. Sorry, guys. I think I have to do it. I have to bring Gen AI back again for those conversations. But
That's fine.
moving forward, we want to, obviously for this season, we want to cover other topics too as well. So we're going to start into discussing how we can chat about data analytics, compute, storage, how we can help you guys understand those domains and topics much better. And if you have any specific wants and ask, please do reach out to our Tech Show page, but also reach out to us personally to recommend topics that you want us to talk about. But
you can always leave us a message, if you have a particular topic you wanted to go over, from basic fundamentals all the way to advanced. We can always have those sessions. So
yep, I want to also add additional thing. I'll pass it out to Danieski to quickly announce this too as well. We had a great idea. We used to do this in the past on our YouTube page, but I think we're gonna start doing more of these as of the next episodes, or actually throughout the entire season. So Danieski, take it away.
Yeah, we took a look at the past videos throughout the history of the channel. It's been like 3 or 4 years now. So we took a look at the comments that watchers left, and we're gonna go back and revisit demos again. So we're gonna be posting soon, at least a demo a week on a weekly basis, a recorded session. It's not gonna be live. It's just a recorded session that we're gonna upload so that we can see how to build stuff practically, and also how to build it with infrastructure as code using either CloudFormation or Terraform, so you guys can see. You can visit the previous videos in this channel. You see that there were some live sessions before where we built different stuff with Terraform and CloudFormation, and then we saw that people enjoyed them. So why not go
We're
back?
bringing it back.
We're
bringing it back.
And show, right? People were asking for more, and if they ask for more, we give them more. So
yeah,
soon, it's coming soon.
Coming soon to your the nearest YouTube, to our YouTube channel, not to the even nearest YouTube channel, to our YouTube channel very soon. But yeah, like Danieski said, I want to say plus one to it. We're gonna be coming with more demos related to various topics. If you have a specific topic or a specific service or technology you want us to demo on, please let us know. I'm very excited to walk through various different demos that I've done, and also what I've seen other folks build, and demo it to you guys to help you be able to build these demos for whatever solution or use case that you have. So I think it's very exciting.
And also, just a quick note is all the demos that we're presenting, they are from services from Amazon Web Services. So just for you to have that information.
Just for that additional context, thank you, Danieski. It's going to be mostly AWS services, and yeah, I think we would do that. But with that being said, we look forward to next week. We are going to be announcing what the topic and show is going to be about next week during the week before the actual show. So look forward to what the topic is on our LinkedIn page. We are so close to the 150 mark to officially go live on the official LinkedIn channel. So please do, if you haven't yet, subscribe or follow our LinkedIn page, but also subscribe our YouTube channel. Please make sure you like our generative AI repurposed clips that we usually create. And yeah, please do leave any comments or any questions on those clips or on those videos. And yeah, we look forward to one next week. And we look forward to creating those videos for you guys to have in any capacity that you want to use it for. So with that being said, I am Joel Sante, Danieski, Azo. It's a pleasure as always to jump on this live stream. And yeah, have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend. And we look forward to more conversations to come. Thank you all. Have a good
See you
one.
next Friday.